the blueprint is just sticking to our plan and, building on the foundation that we laid already. And, it's just it's a foundation built on grit. That guy, that wide receiver that threw a 75-yard touchdown, he's a guy that's been, practice squad and scratching and clawing and, and had a good preseason, earned the right to make the football team and be in position and get to the end of the year and stick the course and throw that 75-yard touchdown. And then and the other part is, Dan. Dan is aggressive, and it's part of who he is, and he's not going to pull back. He doesn't care who we're playing, who we have. He's going to get the most out of all of our players, and we're just going to stick to the plan that we have in place and keep building that foundation.
We talked a lot about the next man up mentality. You said it's a little cliche because it's thrown around a lot, but it's very hard to live in it and be successful in it.
Yeah.
This team, they had to adopt that mentality. They did find some success with it. How?
Yeah, well, it's a collaborative effort. I've always said both our personnel department and our coaching staff. So, our personnel department has to have the guys already in place, whether it's already have it on the practice squad or, find it on the waiver wire. But, to acquire those guys to be ready and then to have a phenomenal coaching staff to get those guys ready to play, that collaboration allows you to not only live in Next Man Up, but have success in Next Man Up. And I do think there's a difference of living it and having success with it. Now, I know that the amount of games didn't equate to, that doesn't say a success, just winning 3 games, but the snaps that those guys were able to get is just so valuable heading into the next season.
2 of the draft picks that you helped secure for this team found some success in Next Man Up, whether it was Penei Sewell along the offensive line having to step up there, or Amon-Ra St. Brown, the rookie, having to step up for a depleted receiving core at times. When you look at the feat that they had to overcome, what's going through your mind is you can kind of check those guys off for consistency and rising to the occasion.
Yeah, and I like what you said with consistency, because that's what those guys are. And, starting with Penei, we knew, and obviously you take a player that high, you expect to get a special player, and he is a special player, but he's what we're all about. And I'll say the same thing with St. Brown, but starting with Penei, being a left tackle in college and then having an opt-out and then coming here and playing right tackle, and then Decker goes out and he goes to left and Decker comes back and he's got to go to right. And then the whole time through this swapping of sides, he's getting better and better and better. And him being, one of the 2 youngest guys in that last year's draft class, that's going to tell you already he's just going to get better. And St. Brown, he's another guy that we'll say both of them are who we thought they were going to be, but it's just, Penei at 7 overall and St. Brown, at 4th round, 112. Like they're put in different buckets, but I will say it's not a surprise with his success because of his intangible qualities. And I think everybody's heard me say that at length of, when it comes to player acquisition, that's where it starts with. And his work ethic, his drive, his approach to the game, that helps him set himself up for that success that he's had. And hopefully he's encouraged to keep building on that and he heads into this offseason.
Detroit is in the player acquisition phase as we speak. It's going to start mainly down in Mobile, Alabama with the Reese Senior Bowl. An interesting point of view that Coach Campbell brought up was that you guys are going to have the front row seat to this talent, but you can't be so locked in on them that you forget the talent that's not there. So how will the staff balance that? Yeah,
I'm glad he mentioned that, because it's something that we had a discussion about, look, that is this group of players during this week. Now, it's great to be down there, and it seems like a great roster. I just was looking at it today, and it's a talented roster, but, we got to keep that up because not the whole draft class is not there that week. So I talk about anchors a lot, and we don't want to get anchored in just those players for that week, and then, well, these other players weren't here, so then let's look at these players in the same. No, like, we can't do that. But we're really excited about it. back where I came from with the Rams, you know, we were able to acquire a lot of players that played in the Senior Bowl and had a lot of success. So, you know, you can acquire a lot of talent that can help your football team down there.
Your scouting department has some draft capital this year, namely that second overall pick. What do those draftees need to encompass on and off the field if they want to have success here in the Motor City?
Yeah, well, you know, I talk about intangibles all the time, so they have to fit what we're all about, you know, and, you know, we want smart players that are passionate, instinctive, and relentless and explosive and that are about grit. So, you know, they have to fit that, but also, you know, they have to produce. So when they have opportunities, you know, whether it be, you know, during these All-Star games, it's not the Senior Bowl, is it the East-West game, is it the NFLPA game, you know, find those guys producing when the opportunity comes, and then it's followed up by the combine and then the pro days. And some guys that aren't at the Senior Bowl or not at an All-Star game, they might show up at the combine. Guys that don't get invited to either one events, you know, they might have a great pro day, and then, you know, you get analytics involved and all of that. So we have a good process in place. A lot of smoke gets cleared out, you know, as the process goes on, but we feel really good about our process.
Last but not least, Coach Campbell said, right now this team is in the Arctic Ocean, but it wants to get to the Caribbean. That is the goal. So when the pieces are in place and good things are cooking, what does the Caribbean look like when skies are clear and the sun is bright and shining?
Well, it's definitely winning more than 3 games. I'll tell you that. But you know, but I know exactly what Dan is saying, and I've been saying it all year. Like, we're doing the hard stuff. Like, we had to go through a lot of hard stuff this past season, and when you're going through a lot of hard stuff, you're in the Arctic. You know, that's part of it, with all the different circumstances and scenarios that we're dealt with, whether it be injuries or any of that other stuff. But we're very excited about this offseason of where we're headed. And I don't know if I can wrap one word about what the Caribbean is, but I think it's going to be fun for all the fans for sure.